if you have $500,000 to spend in the Iowa Great Lakes, you do not have enough money for Lakefront on West Okoboji. Not even close. And if nobody's told you that yet, this video is going to save you a lot of frustration. West Okoboji is the crown jewel of the market. It's 136 feet deep, one of only 3 blue water lakes in the world, and the most desirable address in the entire Iowa Great Lakes chain. So what does $500,000 get you on West Lake? Nothing with your feet in the water. Right now, the cheapest single-family lakefront home listed on West Okoboji is $1.9 million. It's not a typo. You didn't hear it wrong. That's the floor. Now, there is a workaround that some buyers are looking at. The Wahpeton Canals. You can get into that area around $600,000. West Okoboji, condos are a different story. In that $750 to $900 range, there are some options. I mean, there's condos all around the lakes, but we'll get to that in a minute. The point is this. If West Okoboji Lakefront is your dream, $500,000 isn't the budget that gets you there. And knowing that up front saves you from chasing something that isn't available at your price point. So where does that leave a buyer with $400,000 to $500,000? This is where it gets interesting. Because you have more options than you think. You just need to understand exactly what each one is and what it isn't. Let's go through the full picture of what this budget actually buys you in 2026. Let's start with Big Spirit. Big Spirit, it's Iowa's largest natural lake. Quieter than West Okoboji, less boat traffic, great fishing, and every once in a while, a small cabin with true lakefront pops up in that range. You actually own your shore. It's rare, but it happens once in a while. Right now, there's nothing on the water at that price point on Big Spirit. There's one property currently available that's right at $700,000 and another one around $800,000. Rest are over $1 million. But here's a story that tells you everything about this market. There's a cabin on Big Spirit right now listed at $100,000. Sounds like a deal, right? Well, don't jump in your truck just yet. You're buying a cabin only, not the land. You have to move that structure to your own property. Now, I didn't mean to get your hopes up, but in context, it's a great example of how valuable the ground is. They are willing to sell the house to make ends meet, but aren't willing to give up the soil. All right, maybe I'm improvising this story a little bit, and truly they're building a brand new one. I don't really know the story. Point I'm trying to make, in the lakes, the dirt is what you're paying for. Now, East Okoboji. It's connected to West and gets you into the chain. In that $400 to $500 range, you might find lake access, not guaranteed lakefront, but access. Bridges Bay is one of the areas people look at in this range. There are cabins there starting in the high 300s, but here's what buyers need to understand before they fall in love with the idea. Those cabins are not on the water. Not a single one in that price range currently sits on a shoreline. What you get is association lake access, and that access comes with real costs that most buyers, they don't factor it, up front. Association fees at Bridges Bay run around $6,000 a year for the cabins. On top of that, a boat slip is roughly another $1,500 annually. And that slip, it's not guaranteed. You can usually get one, but it's not promised. And if you own a pontoon, yeah, it's a problem. Because Bridges Bay, I believe they have official policy, no pontoons. Their slips accommodate boats up to 27 feet, but for pontoons, they're not wide enough. So when you run the real math, $6,000 in association fees, $1,500 for a slip, plus whatever mortgage looks like, insurance, and whatever other fees, starts to look a lot different than the list price suggested. Now, we've got Hidden Oaks. This one I can speak to directly because our company, Real Estate Unlimited, has it listed right now. In fact, developer's daughter, she's an agent in our office, and she knows these units like the back of her hand. Hidden Oaks is a brand new condo development, priced currently at $445,000. They're 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-stall garage. They're built on slab. The next build phase just broke ground. You can still pick your finishes if you get in now. The clubhouse is also finished and so is the pool. The builder, he does exceptional work. These are well-built, clean, modern properties. They're close to Lower Gar, but here's what I want you to hear directly from me. There is no lake access at Hidden Oaks. It's a beautiful property in a great location near the water, but there is no lake access. You get a brand new build, you're only hop, skip, and jump away from the lake, but no lake access is included. What is probably the best built, best valued non-lake access property in the $400,000 range in this market right now. If you're relocating to the area and the lake lifestyle matters, but a dock on your property isn't a must, this deserves a serious look. Now, there is one more option in this price range that almost nobody outside this market knows about. And it involves the city of Spirit Lake doing something unusual. First, real quick, if you're actively researching properties in this price range and want to see exactly what's available right now across the full Iowa Lakes chain, I keep an updated lake homes list in the description. It's free, no strings, just a current look at the market. And drop a comment below. Are you leaning towards lake access or holding out for true lakefront? I'm curious where most people land on that. I read every one to keep myself educated, and getting honest feedback from unbiased parties gives me the most authentic data to use. All right, there's a property right now listed at $344,000 in Spirit Lake area, and it has the possibility of lake access through the city of Spirit Lake. It's not guaranteed, possibility. That word matters a ton in this market because one of the most misunderstood things about buying in the Iowa Great Lakes is that lake access is not one thing. It's a spectrum. And where you land on that spectrum changes your entire experience of owning here. Let me break it down the way I explain it to every buyer I work with. Roughly 40% of what gets marketed as lake access in this market is either true lakefront or deeded lake access, meaning you have your own dock rights tied to your deed. That is real, tangible, permanent water access. Now, the other 60% is shared association access, a shared dock, a boat ramp that belongs to an HOA, access that works fine until you want a specific slip or you move in and realize there's a wait list. This is the difference between buying a lake property and understanding what you're actually buying. The address might say lake access, the MLS might say lake access, until you know what kind of shared access, shared by how many people, with what restrictions, and whether boat slip is actually available. You don't have the full picture. Pelican Ridge is a good example. It's first come, first served for your slips. I had a listing out there last year where the seller actually went ahead and purchased a slip before listing, because if he didn't, the next owner was going to be sitting on a wait list. That's a real thing that happens there. So what's the actual smart move for a buyer in this price range? Here's how I frame this for every buyer who comes to me with a $400,000 to $500,000 budget and a dream of being on the water. First question, how are you actually going to use this property? If you're relocating full time and the lake is part of the lifestyle, but you don't need a boat in your backyard every morning, something like Hidden Oaks or a well-located lake access property might check every box. You're in the community, you have the lifestyle, but you're not paying $1.9 million to get it. Second question, what's a real total cost? Because a $420,000 cabin at Bridges Bay with $6,000 in association fees and $1,500 boat slip fee, that's $427,500 purchase price with $7,500 in annual carrying costs on top of your mortgage. That's before maintenance, insurance, or anything else. Run that number. Honestly, run it. Third question, what are you actually getting? Not what the listing says, what are you actually getting? Deeded access or shared? Guaranteed slip, waitlist. Pontoon friendly or size restricted? What's the process if you get a slip? Does that mean I'm guaranteed to get one the next year? These are all questions that need answers before you fall in love with the place. The Iowa Great Lakes is one of the most unique real estate markets in the Midwest. And at $400,000 to $500,000 level, they're genuinely good options. But the buyers who are happiest 5 years after closing are the ones who went in with clear eyes about exactly what they were buying. The ones who struggle are the ones who bought the idea of lake access without understanding what that actually meant on a Tuesday afternoon in July when they want to take the boat out. All right, bottom line, $500,000 buys a lot of lifestyle in the Iowa Great Lakes, but only if you know exactly what you're buying and what questions to ask before you sign anything. Whether you're eyeing lakefront, lake access, a new build near the water, or you're just relocating to the area and want to understand this market, call or text me or book a strategy call. Everything you need is in the description below. No pressure, I'll give you straight answers. All right, now that you know about what this budget will get you in this market, you need to understand how two buyers can spend the same money on completely different lakes and end up living completely different lives. That's exactly what we're breaking down in this video right here.